Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Wait a second, that's Superman. This is Empire. It's Marvel. What's going on, guys? Professor Bill, Comic Book University. So I got 4 books in my hand. You'll never see them. No, I'm joking. They're these guys here. So I'm going to be doing the Empire books. 4 of them came out. I read, the first one over here. I'm just like, okay, let me read this one. I'm like, maybe I'll just do individual reviews. I'm like, why would I do that? Why would I do that? It's not a complaint on the book, but the first Empire book here, well, issue number 2, I actually fell asleep last night reading them. I was just so tired. Plus, I was eating some junk food, so like I just had like a sugar crash. I'm like, boom, insulin crash, and just so yeah, there's that. Anyway, so I woke up and I read it again. I was like, okay, it's actually pretty good. It's pretty good. No complaints. I read all these books and I've got a bit to say about them because yes. So let's turn to the back of here really quick. We're going to go over Empire issue number 1 first, although I really can't wait to get to the Hulkling one. So here's where we're at so far. Road to Empire, the Kree Skrull War, issue number 1. All this really did was give us a brief history of everything that they're about to destroy. I know there's people who love the event. I like the event. I like this certainly better than issue 1, but they really did go out of their way to just wreck the history of the Marvel Universe. Let's see what else they can wreck because they're not finished, and there are clearly some things here which they're not paying attention to that I remember, but apparently they don't. Let's get into Empire Zero. Both Empire Zeros, Empire Zero Avengers, Empire Zero Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four one was them on the other side of the universe, apparently. They were trying to get home. They ran out of gas in their fantastic, I forget what they were driving. Was it the flying bathtub? Anyway, they were trying to get home in their ship and they ran out of gas. Somehow they ran out of fuel and they don't have solar power or anything like that. It's just, we use fossil fuels. Cute. And they wind up getting a tow to go out to I love it how they're always talking about Earth as a backwater planet, but it's always some backwater guy who's out there, with a tow truck or something like that. Hey, I'll give you a ride if you want. And it's like, why do you always talk like that? Why do you always do that talk? I don't understand. I don't get it. Because I think I see where you're going, but what happened to the the US Highway 1 guy? Whatever happened to that? So then we go on to the one with the with the Avengers, where it's like, yeah. So where they build all this stuff up just to completely destroy it in the previous issue. I'm going to just really quickly rehash the idea that I do not like that they wrecked the Kotatl. For me, like the priests of Pama, the Kotati, this benevolent race of just really good people who just want to be kind of left alone, and they're like the Shaolin monks, respectable people who just chill, man. And all of a sudden now they're very warlike. Apparently they've always been like that. They've just been waiting for the right time. Okay. Half of these, by the way, half of them. 21 we're keeping, 19 that we're getting rid of. But since 6 of them are actually these books, plus the 2 openings, plus the preview, all 3 of which I just mentioned, plus the 2 afterwards, I'm going to say that more than half of the tie-ins they've wrecked. They've just gotten rid of them. So only 21 of these are actually going to continue to be in existence. The other 19 are just history. They're gone. They don't exist anymore. I'm sure they'll probably release them on digital or something like that, whatever. So brief list of the people who are going to be in this book, and a complete forgetting of all the people who these guys actually are. They've got a nice forward. Let's talk about who made this comic book. Al Ewing and Dan Slott. The script for this book is Al Ewing. Valerio Scheide does the art. The color art is Marty Gracia, and letters VC's Joe Caramagna. This cover is Jim Chung and Guro FX on the colors for there, and there's a bunch of variant covers. Carlos Lau does the graphic design. So I believe that means that he made the title and all that good stuff. And boom, let's go. So we start off, here's an interesting mystery, and I've been seeing a couple little things online about this page. We see somebody, I'm just going to read it to you. Now leaving warp, the computer says. Warning, Earth system inhabitants are pre-civilized and dangerous. Earth is not pre-civilized. There are three tenets to civilization. One is agriculture, which we do. In fact, they should know. Two is tool use, which clearly we use tools. Some of us are tools. And three, mastery of fire, which, yeah, dude, fire. The original, scientific discovery. So I don't understand I don't think that they know here, like Ewing, whoever, I don't think that he actually understands what civilization actually is. I love me some Al Ewing in this. I just feel like this book is it's a bunch of stuff thrown together and they're not second guessing or double checking anything. Why would you call Earth pre-civilization? Like, it's not even a comparative thing. It's not. You use the word civilization. We are clearly and evidently a civilization. We may be very backwater in certain regards, and of course, according to space, but we are civilized. We are civilizations. It doesn't make sense. So this person says, I know, computer, I was born here. Oh, mystery person, all wrapped up in armor or spacesuit. Acknowledged. Continue broadcasting emergency beacon, the computer says, and this person says, and it looks like a female suit. Like they're trying to push us to something. Now more than ever, the Avengers need to know what's on their doorstep before it's too late. So a couple little things. It looks like a female spacesuit. This is somebody who was born on Earth, but is coming from, it looks like Jupiter. There's the hurricane that is the eye of Jupiter. I imagine this would be Titan. So it looks like it's actually coming from down here. I'm trying to do this stuff in reverse. It shows up reverse on my screen. This looks like what I would imagine an ornithopter would look like from the Dune series. And they've done movie, and they're going to do another movie, and they've done a TV series on sci-fi, and this actually looks a lot like that. That's kind of cool. I'm digging on that. It looks kind of cool. Anyway, so a lot of people trying to speculate online. I see people saying like, oh, it's Mantis, it's Mantis, it's Mantis, it's Mantis, it's Mantis. Yeah, that wouldn't really be such a big deal though, would it? I'm going to get to the comments in a little while, guys. Sorry, after I finish with this comic book, I will start reading through the comments and answering some questions before I get into the next comic. It seems like this would be Mantis, right? She's going to come and she's going to save the day because this is the celestial Messiah to the celestial, or the celestial Madonna to the celestial Messiah, which is Koi, who's wrecking things and changed things and whatnot. We've just seen Mantis multiple times. She's just in recent Guardians of the Galaxy series. She was all throughout the War of Kings. She was all throughout Annihilation. She almost died there. Like she's been all over the place. Like I wouldn't be impressed if this was Mantis. Mantis is on the cover of the next issue, though. They actually show that. Boop, right back here. Oh, look, it's Mantis. And she's got the little cummerbund. It looks like this could very well be her. If it is her, they've already screwed up. For one thing, Mantis usually travels by astral projection. And then she could use plants to do whatever she wants. And you know what I'm saying? Like that's one of the things that she does. Okay, fine. Let's say she wants her actual physical body to go, and that they've forgotten, or they knew that, but they wanted her actual physical body to go. Cool. How does Mantis usually talk? Because here I'm reading, I know, computer, I was born there. Those are very specific pronouns in the first person. She's not talking in the third person like Mantis usually talks. So I don't see this as being Mantis, except that I do imagine it's going to be Mantis, in which case they will have simply decided to change Mantis also. It seems like it's a little thing, right? But I just remember lots of times when people have referenced her speaking the third person, specifically in the Silver Surfer comics, which I'm a particular fan of. And he went out of his way to try and get her to, it's like, you're annoying me with this third person. You seem so haughty. It's like, no, it's not being haughty. It's being humble. So which is interesting for somebody so ridiculously powerful. I mean, there's that. Um, yeah, bro. If this is Mantis, they've already screwed up by having her speak in the first person. Ay. So anyway, we continue on with Koi having the Avengers. There, Thor is all like, look at him. He's all like, ah, what are you doing? Ah! He's like screaming. You ever seen? You ever see the that meme where they show the woman screaming, the other woman's holding her back? She's like, ah! And then you see the cat behind the table. It's talking about, yeah, that's this looks like that meme for the most part. Like he's just screaming, but then later, gonna skip a couple pages because there's a little bit of history there. Besides Thor's histrionics, there's a lot of history there. Anyway, boom, ba boom, ba boom. Quick stuff over like a whole bunch of backstory over the idea of incoming and all this other stuff's like so Marvel 1000, Marvel 1001, incoming. Okay, please stop. Please stop because this isn't a continuous story that we can easily refresh. We've got to start putting a crazy reading order there, and it's not. It's too hard to put all this stuff together. Anyway, so Thor shows up, and now he's not all because his hammer is here. What's that screaming? And it's like, yeah, there's screaming in space. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's screaming in space. Whatever, there's fire in space. We don't follow anything in this world. And Thor is just like he's so happy. Look at this. Like besides the smile here, you see he's just like, I'm not mad anymore because my hammer's here. He's like, I have my hammer. I have a smile. La 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 la. What is this? So the Avengers go walking forward, and mind you, just earlier, Tony Stark I'm going to go backwards and find this because it was interesting. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Tony Stark dared to speak. And while Koi is talking about mercy, this is what he does. He breaches Tony's armor with a vine and threatens to put that vine. Look how close that is. Reminds me of an episode of Star Trek when they were putting actually, it wasn't the episode, was it? It was the First Contact movie, anywhere where they're putting the needle into Picard's eye. Well, anyway, here, like he's threatening, like right there. And Tony's like, oh crap, my eyelid is not going to protect me from this thing. Yeah, but he's all about mercy. How did we get the Kotato to be not even so? It's not even like, oh, we have to defense in the name of defense, war in the name of defense. No, they're actually really effing bloodthirsty in this. And Tony's just like, hey, what's up? Anyway, so Thor goes to summon some lightning, and Koi disappears. You can see the stuff forming around him, and he disappears. Like he must have somehow. What does he say here? Gone before my lightning could reach him. Some manner of portal. ... He can't figure it out. Anybody who's not familiar with the Kree Skrull War and all the stuff with the Celestial Madonna and the Celestial Messiah, Koi here, give me a moment. Captain America decides to try and fix things. He's gonna capsplain. The X-Men use plant-based gateways for instant travel. I guess it's no surprise the Kotati have something similar. Iron Man, do me some stuff. Now finally Captain America's taken the lead. Unfortunately, all the Avengers seem to have forgot, or maybe it's just Al Ewing who forgot that Koi actually has this ability, and he's had this ability, and everyone knows he's got this ability to teleport any place where there's plant life. If there's a plant, one little tiny plant on the other side of space, like in the Andromeda galaxy where the Skrull are, he can pretty much instantaneously teleport there by like, here's a plant. We're all connected through Marvel's version of the green. Boop, and now I'm over here. He's always been able to do that. It's a known thing. Captain America is usually the guy who always says, I'm just trying to keep, look, it's like, Bill, you're just insulting everything. No. I'm keeping in continuity. Captain America is the guy who is constantly berating everybody on the Avengers team. If you would have read the Avengers file, Iron Man does it every so often too. If you would have read the Avengers files, you'd know such and such and such. Okay, well, Al Ewing, Dan Slott, if you guys actually read the Avengers files, why do you write about something you clearly don't seem to know anything about or don't care about the history of it. Like this literally doesn't make any sense to me. You're changing everything and not in a good way. And the proof of it not being in a good way is you clearly don't know these characters because you're writing these characters as not knowing the powers. It's one of the only things that Koi has ever been able to do is teleport from this plant to another plant, even in space. So it's like you got one power. It's like writing Cyclops and saying, "Oh, I didn't know that he shot things out of his eyes." You don't have to know it's concussive beams, even if you think it's a laser. Just the idea, like, "Oh, I didn't realize that was his power." It's the one thing he can do. It's the one thing you could do. If you forget that he's immune to Havoc's, blasts, okay, I get it. Heck, if I remember correctly, in the Inferno comic books, it actually made him stronger whenever Havoc would blast him. It's like, you're increasing my strength, you're increasing my powers. Um, I think it was the X-Men cartoon, the '92 cartoon. They said, "Oh, if I'm not in the direct sunlight, then I won't be able to use my powers because that my powers are charged by the sun." There was always something a little different here, there, whatever people did, whatever. But it's like you're writing a continuation of this event. You know what? Whatever. Maybe you guys love this comic book and you think I'm nitpicking. If it's nitpicking to point out that these people clearly don't know what the hell they're writing, sure, I'm a nitpicker. So anyway, then more things happen. Hulkling shows, and Hulk here's where I'm gonna get stupid because I don't know that much about Hulkling or the Young Avengers. I will acknowledge beforehand. I wish there was a disclaimer in the beginning. The writers don't know anything about the Kree Skrull War. Here's Hulkling showing up. I don't know anything about him. I don't understand this sword. I'm gonna get into that a lot more when I get to his individual book. Couple of things happen here. This is kind of cool. He slashes through Ben Grimm because the things are going inside of him. I guess because he's rock, they're like, "Oh, he's dirt. We can really grow in him. Yay!" So they're going after him. That's just my headcanon. Whatever. I'll take my no prize anytime you're ready. Boom, and it slashes right through him, but it doesn't hurt him. It only hurts the bad guys. It only hurts the Kotatsi. So okay, cool. Okay, I like that. That's kind of cool. It's a pretty cool sword. Pretty nifty. And then he's got multiple. They decide, let's charge up Carol since she has the ability to absorb energy and it recognizes good guy from bad guy, so we can put the sword in her. And let's do that so that she can do an energy burst that will get rid of all the infections on the fleet so that we'll be okay. Actually sounds pretty cool, but did it actually have to go like in her gut of all things? Like she couldn't just be like, sure, let me touch it and I'll start absorbing things. No, 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 no. He decides, I'm going to shove it inside of you. Here's where things get a little bit weird. Here's where the writing gets a little bit weird. Um, the pain hits me like my heart's on fire. Heck, what is it? Like a heart attack, like death. But I hold it, let it build, let the pain build up. And when I can't take another second of agony, I let it build more, and I can't. But I have to. And all I'm about is pain, dude. At some point, it's a bit much, and then the pain explodes, and I'm dead. Wait, I was really dead? Like, dude, this is it's getting a little weird. Hey, here's something else that we also forgot. Here's or just never knew because we're apparently brand new to comic books. Look at Reed Richards holding the hammer that it turns out this was actually Ronan the Accuser's hammer. This is called the Universal Weapon. You want to know one of the key features of the Universal Weapon that was really cool? That Ronan the Accuser would hold on to this huge hammer, and all the accusers, they could hold onto their hammers. And if you ever came to touch one of the like, oh, he dropped it, I'll take this thing and make sure he doesn't get it, or I'll use it against him. It electrocutes you. It electrocutes you about as powerful as when Doctor Doom would, no one touches Doom, and you touch him and bzz, he explodes all over, like, and you're fried like a sardine. And look, apparently that doesn't exist anymore because Reed Richards, who knew this better than anybody, suddenly he's able to just hold this thing like, oh, it's like I've never seen this thing before. But he uses it to, because when you are overloaded with energy and you explode energy, as opposed to, mind you, as opposed to becoming binary or even Warbird. No, she just explodes and dies. I'm waiting for that logic to seep in. And then you add more energy to her because that's what you do. When someone's eaten too much and they've got a tummy ache, give them a little chicken soup because somehow adding more is going to help. And I'm sorry, I completely don't see it. There are people who I'm sure are loving this comic book. Stop watching my review because I I don't get anything that's happening in this comic book. Everything is topsy-turvy reversed. It's like they're systematically, the Marvel Universe, we have to break this damn thing down a little bit so we could build it back up. Except I don't trust the hands that are doing that. And I don't like the idea they would be doing that in the first place. So anyway, Carol decides to take the thing now. Her, I can understand being able to hold on to this hammer, the universal weapon. Her, I could see doing that. But for the love of God, I just don't see this. I don't understand why they're doing these things. None of this stuff makes any sense. I genuinely feel like they don't know who these characters are, that they've never read these characters before. What am I reading here? Let's check out some comments. People saying hi, what's going on? Tommy's here. Silent Night, aggressive relaxations, space, Great Depression is great. Somehow Earth is a third world planet, the most important place in the universe. That I can kind of rectify in my brain. It's like we don't realize our true potential. That's always been the part of it. I actually like that idea. But yeah, it is what it is. Caleb, what's going on, Caleb? I just finished reading Empire 2. So far, I'm digging it even more. Professor, we got to remember the Kotati got wiped by the Kree, so they changed their pacifist ways. No, they never once changed their pacifist ways. Koi proves the point. Mm-mm, mm-mm. That would be like saying that the Shaolin monks have just declared war. Like the Dalai Lama. Seriously, think about this. The Dalai Lama, after everything that's happening out there, declares war. Gandhi is like, you know what? Enough of this British thing. That's it. Get to arms, bear arms. Let's go out and kick some ass and take some names. I'm not seeing that. Like, I get it that we've got, see, because that's what I've always associated these guys with. But instead, it's like Slott and Ewing are looking at it more of, well, he's called the Celestial Messiah, and Jesus is the Messiah according to Judeo-Christian Islamic faith. Excuse me. I apologize to my Jewish fans out there. When I say Judeo-Christian, I mean Christianity and Islam. He's considered the Messiah, obviously not Judaism. So my bad. I got that wrong. Hey, this is what it looks like when you admit that you got something wrong. If only they could have some freaking acknowledgement with these books right here. So, um, the idea that Jesus died and now he's going to come back. He was peaceful before, but now he's going to come back and he's going to be a soldier, a general, a leader, and he's going to lead the armies against the Antichrist. Okay, but that's not going to happen here. We're not going to see the obliteration of the scroll and the Kree, and I don't see an actual Antichrist figure. So maybe I've simply studied religion more than these guys also, because this seems like an atheist, and I'm okay with atheism. I'm okay with agnosticism. I think that's how it would be pronounced. Anyway, I'm okay with that, but at least know the religion that you're talking about, pretty please, with sugar on top. No, this isn't that. I don't know why it has to be their version of their understanding of a Jesus figure coming back. He never had the peaceful stuff in the first place. Not really. We've gotten very little of the Celestial Messiah of Koi. So what is this? And apparently nobody knows who he is. No, I'm not seeing that. These guys were in Vietnam. The priests of Pama. These guys were peaceful. They were pacifists. When I get to this book, Simon Williams remains a pacifist because he's a pacifist. Even though he fights, he's like, I'm not going to kill you guys, and I'm not going to let you guys kill. Luckily for you, as powerful as I am, I'm a pacifist. I'm going to get into all that good stuff, but bro, no, I'm not seeing that here. I can't imagine the Dalai Lama or Gandhi stepping up, or Martin Luther King Jr. stepping up and saying, you know what, F this crap, get the guns. Saying, Devon, get the tables. No, I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that. So no. Heck, even the Skrulls changed originally because they were also pacifists. The Skrulls were not pacifists. They were peaceful, but they were not pacifists. Pacifism is very different. But yes, the whole Kotati Skrull debacle and the Kree, that was mostly because of the Kree. Yes, and that was a major thing, which unfortunately they don't really explore as much as they should in the first place. But whatever, it is what it is. When you're doing Spider-Man review, well, not now. Probably do it later. Maybe it wasn't the best. There are a lot of comic books out right now, and I can't just give you a time on that. Maybe it wasn't the best idea, MC Pick says, to have the Space Messiah be raised by plant swordsman. I mean, even Hawkeye was wary of him best when he was alive. The thing is, it's not really the swordsman. It's the swordsman is not actually a swordsman. It's the swordsman's body. Maybe there's a little bit of him still, like he's got the memories inside him, but it's actually a Kotati spirit. It was actually a Kotati spirit. Like the whole thing is really weird. When one of the things that's especially strange about this, like here's something to also think about: the juxtaposition of what Koi actually is. Swordsman is not actually the original swordsman. It's his body, but he died. A Kotati spirit took over the body 3 days later, 3 days later he was buried. So it's kind of like he's actually the Jesus figure, right? But then later he rose, but it was actually something else entirely. It was the spirit. So then the spirit, the astral form of this spirit in Swordsman's body, and the astral spirit of Mantis go off into space. They copulate. That's right. Space boom boom in the astral plane. Freaking, what's his name? Oh my God, what the hell's his name? Ahmad Farok. Shadow King. I'm looking at the Shadow King. Yeah, it's Kingpin's body, but with Shadow King's head. Anyway, so the Shadow King is up there in space looking down, talking about, ooh, astral porn. Anyway, so that's what's happening. That's pretty much what's happening. And then she came down, impregnated by this Kotati spirit, went back into her body. So the spirit of her, of this seedling child, was inside, and then she formed the womb with her plant control. And that's how all that happens. So it is a very celestial kind of thing. It really is supposed to be like, here's a spirit, and they were spirits, but then she formed this stuff. So Celestial Madonna, she can do that. Nobody else could. Yeah, it's a really interesting concept that was never really fully fleshed out. And I kind of wish it still wasn't, because this doesn't live up to that. It really doesn't. Let's read up a couple more of these guys here. What's up, Viclops? Nero Black. It's the magic that maybe prevented the binary form. That's actually, I like that. That's a good synopsis. Hey, Nerdette, what's going on? Grandmaster, what's up? Nero continues, setting me straight. I feel there's more they've admitted. The ancient Kotati were probably sinister the whole time, and they're manipulating Koi. I just can't see that. I can't see that. Just a theory. But who's to say the Kotati wouldn't have showed their true colors, and the Kree not just attacked in rage, the spiritual spirit of the spirits? Again, no. I don't know that I've read everything about the Kotati, and maybe I just have this admiration for them. This is just me. As a martial artist since I was 8 years old, I learned how to fight because I was sick of fighting. Unfortunately, it led to, I think it led to less fights, but whatever. Like I grew up in places where you fought a lot. Otherwise, it led to a lot more getting beaten up. I don't like getting beaten up. So I learned how to fight. But at the same time, I always had that peaceful aspect of myself. As I got older, when I was actually in high school, some of my closest friends who knew me, and I'd always be talking about the samurai and finding peace through the way of the warrior, Bushido. Saying I always thought like this, and it's like, wow, there's always this joke that because the first school I ever went to was actually a ninjutsu school. So I learned ninjutsu. But then, Shotokan, Kempo, Bushido Kai, all that good stuff. So it was always, the joke that he's a ninja with the heart of a samurai. And I'm like, yeah, I like that. So the whole warrior poet thing, with my writings getting philosophical and whatnot. So I guess like that's just me. I was always attracted to the idea in comics of the Kotati, this peaceful race that just no matter what happens, hit me, I will turn the other cheek. And I never saw a time that they would suddenly twist that. I could never imagine that. And I still can't with this guided hand. I can't see it. I'm not, at least not this way. Like, at least not this way. You gotta, you gotta look at some of the images in here. I mean, listen, again, reminding you that this is supposed to be the Jesus figure. Okay. Koi is supposed to be the Jesus figure. Let me find the Maestro coming up. Can't wait for that. Oh, for crying out loud! There we go. Whatever. No, it's other pages. Whatever. There's a couple images where the way that he's drawn, he's just got this look at his face, like he's evil. He's not doing this as I'm beneficent and I don't want to hurt anyone. Like I'm thinking of the monks of Tibet, where if they're digging up a place to make a new temple, they're going around and they're finding the worms and the ants and safely removing them. Like if they find an ant colony, they're digging around the whole ant colony to move the ant colony. I'm thinking about the Jainists in India, where they practice ahimsa. They will not pluck an apple off of a tree to eat it because it's taking of the tree before before its fruit has bared. They will only eat an apple once it has fallen from the tree. That is true ahimsa that the deepest Jainists will practice. It's called ahimsa if you're ever looking into it. It's so peaceful, and it's like, just to me, I would love to vie to be something like that. I still have my natural, I want to go out in nature and stuff like that. And I can't right now. I'm not at a position in my life where I can live as a vegetarian, but man, if I could, like, that would be the way to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just that I don't want to ever hurt anyone or anything. That is what the Kotati were. So I don't get that. Plus the way that he's drawn. No, I'm not going to go for that. It's true. In this issue, they mention the Kotati messing with magic to spread their seeds in the galaxy while performing the espionage part of the elimination. If they were infected, whatever, fix it. JCH Productions, what do you think of Captain Marvel, FF, and X-Men will be impacted going forward from this experience? How much do you think they'll be affected? What do you think of all the tie-ins? I'm going to get into the tie-ins now. As far as will they be affected, look, man, it's Marvel. It's modern comics. Nobody back in the day, like under Jim Shooter, you used to be able to, anything happened had to have an effect. I know that Chris Claremont was so upset with Jim Shooter because he made this thing in the comics where, oh look, Phoenix just ate a planet, and Jim Shooter comes along and says, whoa, 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 I just read this thing. There's got to have some consequences to that. It's like, what do you mean? She just ate a planet, whatever. It's like she ate a planet in the middle of the Shi'ar Empire. I mean, this is an empire. They're not going to defend their own. Like, how many people? They said it was a living planet. There were people on the planet. You know what I'm saying? It housed people. It was an M-class planet, as they say in science, and they use that in Star Trek also. It was an M-class. So, hey. So he's like, all right, fine. And look at all the amazing stories that have happened to this day because of that. Black Vortex, I think, being the most recent, but there may have been more since. I'm pretty sure there were more since. The Shi'ar are always upset at the idea of the Phoenix Force coming back because look at what you did to that entire planet. That makes for great storytelling because there have to be consequences. Things like this just don't have consequences anymore. Okay, I'm going to start talking about some of the other tie-ins now. Let's talk about Empyre Avengers. So this is issue 1 of Empyre Avengers, a tie-in. I am enamored by this cover. The cover is by, just really quick, the writer is Jim Zub. The artist is Carlos Magno. The color artist is Espen Grunjetjern. I probably butchered a lot of those names. I apologize. VC's Corey Petit on letters. The cover is Steve McNiven and Maury Hollowell. So, and there's a variant cover by Kim Jacinto and Espen. I just butchered that name. Graphic design also Carlos Lau. So the cover is by Steve McNiven with colors by Maury Hollowell. So what I don't like, I'm not a fan of Captain America's shape on here. This looks like it's more of metal as opposed to scale mail. It could be metal scales, but like they're supposed to be scales. I still see some of them lifting up like the little armored plates, but he should still have more of a chest design. I like that his stomach is in. It actually looks like he's yelling because he is Avengers Assemble. It's not the most inspiring pose of Captain America, but it's good enough, and there is a lot of detail there. So while I'm not the biggest fan of it, I don't necessarily hate it. Vision looks okay. She-Hulk looks great. I'm not a huge fan of what Storm looks like here. She's too like she's got it looks like it's an Instagram photo where she's, a young girl doing the whole, what I'm saying? You know how you see those Instagram photos of the younger, they don't know how to pose. They're all like that. I'm going to tell you a funny story really quick. So my wife knows this. She's right out there. My wife knows this girl who has only ever really taken Instagram. In fact, she's a Gen Zer, you know, saying, or I think she's millennial. Anyway, whatever she is, she's one of those younger generations than me, and she's always taken those Instagram photos, and everything is like that, and it's like, dude, ew. But okay, sure, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. About a year and a half ago, whatever, she got married. Um, she's never taken any other photo before than that for the most part. Always with the big pouty lips thing. So she actually took those photos with her husband. Her husband is standing there, and she's all she can really do is like she'll lean forward, stick her butt out a little bit, and do the for the wedding photos. And it's like, what an embarrassment. What an absolute embarrassment. You are going to, and she actually does. She looks back and she's like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed I took photos like this. This is not to insult girls or young people or anything like that. It's simply, that is a freaking hysterical story. I don't care who you are. That is freaking hysterical. Anyway, so that's what I'm seeing here. One of the things I do like about it, though, is look at the positioning of it. It actually looks like those old boxes where they would have a character in the box where they say what issue. I just want to see the price up here as opposed to down here. So I'd like to see the price up here and the number of the comic book as opposed to where the hell is oh, it is up there. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I want to see. I want to see the price here also because like that's, and the Canadian variant price, that's what I want to see. Whoa, my camera's on. Oh, that's funking annoying. Huh. I thought that was on, I don't want an autofocus. Please deal with that. It's going to happen. Anyway, so I really do like the way that the Thing is drawn on here. The Black Knight looks really dope down there. Look, Richie Rider. Now, this is not the way the Scarlet Witch is usually drawn. Addendum, I would like her to be drawn this way from now on. She actually looks like one of the Roma, one of the a gypsy, as it were. She actually looks really good like this. The headdress, everything. She like the length of her face, how long it is. She looks like a moon. That I want her to be drawn like this from now on. That is freaking amazing. Wow. So Steve McNiven, man, damn good job. Maury Hollowell doing the colors on that. So anyway, here we have a big battle with the Kree and the Skrull teaming up in their costumes. You notice they're all wearing the same armor, the United Front against the Kotati, because yeah, and they're not doing such a great job. Art inside here is also really good, man. Magno, look at that image. Like the tooth is a little bit far back for Zabu, but still it looks good. So Kazar and Zabu there, that looks great, man. Wow, that looks really good. I'm a little, whatever. I'm a little far removed. I'm a little weirded out that Zub actually puts the Agents of Wakanda, like here's Okoye, puts the comment of the Agents of Wakanda here. Could there be a little editor's note or him doing a note that just says, hey, make sure you check out the book? Because, like, with all due respect, Mr. Zub, always be hustling. Always advertise yourself. You know what I'm saying? Don't make the mistake I make. Like, you should definitely be advertising that book. It's a fun book. Anyway, um, So yeah, Black Panther's still leading this stuff. Dr. Nemesis and Vision are flying in, and Luke Cage has no idea who he is. That is freaking hysterical. Hello, stupid robot. The Katati is all like there. Everybody's leading themselves into battle. Freaking dumbass gets himself shot by a javelin. All of it, like, I really like this for the most part. And of course, really quickly, like I said, Simon Williams, Wonder Man, he's actually being himself. He's a pacifist even in the middle of the war. He fights to stop the fighting. Unfortunately, after they just saved the lives of this Kree Skrull unified front, they're like, okay, well, we're going to kill all these Katati now. And Wonder Man's like, no, that's not going to happen. And they're like, well, then we can't hurt you, but we can kill her. So if you want the death to start by not making me have to kill her. It's like, so are you going to stay there forever? But that's what people do. That is very realistic. I'm not, begrudging it. I'm begrudging the stupid scroll. There's a little bit of name calling in here. It's like, hey, what does Mockingbird say? Stand down, chin bumps. With all these guys, I'm surprised they didn't say, okay, they're chest bumps. Like that's freaking hysterical. Dane Whitman is in here. That makes sense. Zub is real. This is one of the things that Zub. This is one of the many things I think Zub is good at. He recognizes the world. He recognizes the goings on. He knows that, hey, the eternal. I'm pretty sure he did this on purpose, unless he was told to do this. Whatever. Somebody recognized this, and they gave a little bit of a fist bump to to Dane Whitman, the Black Knight in this. Why? They put him on the cover and they actually have him. They only do the setup for him. He's apparently going to do something pretty cool in the next issue. Fantastic, because he set up. He does a couple leaps and jumps and whatever. He's like, oh, sword fights. I miss old sword fights and stuff like that. Are we going to see another him versus the swordsman at one point? Because that would be pretty cool. But the Eternals movie is coming up where he is going to be the main character along with the person playing Celine. Not Celine. Not Celine. Celine is from the Hellfire Club. Oh, this bothers me. Anyway, her. So something like Celine. So the Eternal. So they're going to be doing their thing. And anyway, so the idea of putting him in here and not just right away he's kicking everybody's butt. No, no, no. The setup, because there's time. Let it breathe. Let something happen where he's got to do his thing. Now I'm going to say this again, just like I said at the beginning of not Scroll Kill Crew. That was an entirely different comic book. What was that one that just came out during War of the Realms? Punisher Kill Crew. Punisher Kill Crew. I said at the beginning of those reviews, if there's only one, Cersei, thank you, Cersei, Nero Black, you're awesome. It was with an S though, I think, not with a C. But anyway, that's the mythological name and the Wonder Woman enemy. But still awesome, thank you. Yeah, it was Cersei with an S. So anyway, I said the worst thing they could do is what they always do with Black Knight. They always make it so that he's out there and all he is he is the scabbard of the sword. That's all he is. He's just the freaking scabbard of the sword. There's actually a lot to be said about the scabbard of that sword, just like there is to say about Excalibur, but that's a conversation between King Arthur and the Lady of the Lake. Anyway, all he is a scabbard of the sword. What does that mean? It means he doesn't ever do anything special with that sword. He never does a damn thing special with that sword. Whenever you need to finish out a story that the Black Knight is in, is something really epic, it's always going to be somebody else, be it Namor or Hercules or whoever, somebody else grabbing that sword and says, I'll do it, and then kills somebody with that sword. The blood curse gets put back on the sword, and Dane Whitman now has to deal with the blood curse, and it's the same old story over and over again. Dane Knight never gets the kill. He doesn't need to necessarily kill with it, but like you always have to have somebody else take that sword, and then Dane has to suffer the consequences. That's the reason why he made that lightsaber, the Neuro Disruptor sword. After a while, he is actually an incredible physicist. I'm saying he's a great scientist who actually replaced Tony Stark in the Avengers. But that's one of the special things about Dane Whitman is that they always screw him over. He never does anything great. It's always somebody else who uses the sword to do something. Okay, so I said in the beginning of Punisher Kill Crew, as long as they don't have somebody else grab that sword and actually do a finishing blow on somebody, then this comic book will be good. Unfortunately, when the final issue came out, can you guess what happened? you know what happened. The question is who did it. It was the Punisher. It's his book after all. So he took the sword out of the scabbard, out of the sheath, meaning he took it away from Black Knight and said, I'll do the job, and killed the final frost giant, whatever. And apparently there's no blood curse on that. So I guess we just got lazy and we're just like, whatever. So Black Knight is in this series. He's apparently being built up. Hey, we're going to have this stuff coming out with the Eternals pretty soon. The worst thing that Zub can do in this series is to have someone else take the sword, the ebony blade, and freaking kill somebody with it just to hand it back and here's a blood curse. Or even worse than that, I guess, is, oh, there's no blood curse because it's just a stupid plant. Bruh. Don't do it. Don't be like, this is the worst trope when it comes to the Black Knight. Let's move on. So there's the Katati just everywhere. Like the Katati just keep on showing up and they're beating up on everybody. There's some cool stuff where the idea that they've got some sorcerers that throw spores, winds of Watum coming from Dr. Voodoo. I always want to say Brother Voodoo. He's Dr. Voodoo now. So anyway, yeah, boom. And then something amazing happens. It's not the final page of this book, so, you know, whatever it is, what it is. I don't want to get into the final page of this book, but look who suddenly shows up. You're never going to guess whose side the Man-Thing is on. This was so impressive. It's like, well, of course he's going to show up. I mean, we got to wonder what's going to happen with Black Tom Cassidy. We got to wonder what's going to happen with Plant Man. Yes, I want to see something with Plant Man at some point. You got to wonder what's going to happen with the Guardian of the Nexus of Reality. So Man-Thing, not Swamp Thing, Man-Thing shows up. This character was created about 6 months before or 1 month, 1 or 2 months before the Swamp Thing came out, and the two creators were actually roommates. Anyway, Man-Thing shows up, and he's on the side of the bad guys, as it were, because of course he is. It wouldn't make sense if he wasn't. Here's the messed up thing. I'm going to show you the last page of this. Close your eyes and just walk away from the computer for a moment, because this is actually pretty impressive. Shauna the She-Devil shows up, and she's actually in charge of the Man-Thing. Shauna the She-Devil, and she's green. She's been possessed by the Katati. Oh, Zub, you evil son of a gun, you. Okay, I'm back. You can come back now. You can come back now. So I liked that. I liked pretty much everything about this book. I don't like the premise and the plot, but as a tie-in, that's about as good as you're going to get. And that's also another trope about Zub, is that he's pretty much always going to write a great tie-in. Find me one tie-in that he's written. There's probably one, but in the Secret Empire stuff, that was the first time I ever actually read something by him. And it was one of the first times that I actually interviewed Ario Anandito, the artist on that comic book, about it. Great stuff. That was great. His tie-in, so the Secret Empire tie-in was great. The War of the Realms tie-in was if I don't remember which one he did, but I'm sure it was pretty good. Anyway, yeah, pretty much everything that this guy's done with as far as tie-ins. Oh, the Champions tie-in for the Infinity Wars stuff, whatever that one was. That was really good. That was when you saw the breaking of Riri's armor and the whole idea of, hey, guess what? Her attitude has gotten her into a little bit of trouble because she got cocky in front of to Thanos, and Thanos ain't having that stuff. It was a great way to really take that away and have a good reason for it. I liked her cocky attitude. She still has a cocky attitude, but it gave her some character development. And I mean, you can't ask for anything more in comics. So now let's get into, let's read a couple of these guys here. Hey, what's up? What do you think of Captain Marvel's new role as Kree Accuser? I'm sure they're going to do something good with it. How would you compare, that's a good question, how would you compare Death Metal to Empire so far? Death Metal's killing it. And this book is, hey, Wolf, what's up? Just stopping through real quick. About to read it now. Holla later. I'll talk to you later, Wolf. I do enjoy, John says, what they're doing with T'Challa so far. Agreed. Not reading this series, just here for the snacks. Do it, Mark. Do it. Do wonder if Hulkling will be used to lead the young Avengers into Empyre. Could be. Could be if he wound up using that. We're going to see a little bit of that as we get into here. Nero Black, if anyone decides to take the blade, it should be T'Challa, since he used since he used to wield it a lot. Weird. You mean wield? No, I don't want anybody to take the Black Knight's blade because then what's the point of the Black Knight? He's just, like I said, he's just a sheath for a sword. He's just holding the sword for somebody else to do something epic with it. No, no, stop that. Stop making characters useless. Man Thing is very underused. He mostly is. I still remember the R.L. Stine thing. Comics Trope just made I started watching Comics Trope in the past 2 months. Actually, maybe it was only past month, but whatever. I've watched a couple of his videos, and I just saw that he did a new video on R.L. Stine's take on Man Thing, which wasn't good. And it looks like he's going to insult it a lot. I hope he doesn't, but we'll see. I haven't watched that video yet, but I'm going to. Cryptid, what's up, Cryptid? I think Zub wrote Secret Empire Uprising. Yeah, he wrote one of them, the one where we actually saw that the person manipulating black hole inside of his freaking head. Oh God, okay. I'm expanding myself. I'm spreading myself a little bit too far right now. Anyway, it was actually Emma Frost. That's how she wound up coming back. She's like, I was actually manipulating everybody the whole time. That was messed up. But yeah, it was great. It was amazing stuff. I have that book someplace. The story about the champions and Hydra's Got Talent. Yeah, the Hydra's Got Talent stuff. No. That I don't think that was him. I don't think that one was him. Did you read Wolverine 3? Are you doing a Dawn of X live show tonight? I will be doing Dawn of X stuff on Thursday night. That's usually where I do that stuff. My kids were at their grandparents' house. They're on their way home now. Yeah, I need to hurry up and finish this stuff, dude. I don't exist in a vacuum. I have to do all this stuff while I'm actually doing my job. I know a lot of people like to think that us YouTubers make a lot of money. Newsflash, we don't make that much money. We absolutely don't. Rob, I don't think could live off of just doing YouTube, even with all the sponsors, the whatever. He doesn't have sponsors, but just no, we can't. No. People like freaking PewDiePie can. I can't survive on what I said it all the time. If you made in a week what I make in a month off of YouTube, you'd quit your job. And with the pandemic and the fact that nobody's, watching ads and there aren't that many ads to begin with, let me change that. If you made in 1 week what I make in 3 months now, because that's where my salary over here came from, you would quit your job. I literally just do this because it's fun to do. You know what I'm saying? So I can't just bust my ass and put these things out like I would enjoy doing because I actually have to make money. So there's that. Also family time. So there's Lords of Empire, Emperor Hulkling. So this seems like it would be the most important comic book here, right? Wait a second. Let me go to Chip Zdarsky's 28th newsletter where he describes the comic book. So he's going to describe this comic book. This is how he describes the comic book, this one sentence. It's a superhero queer love story from one of my favorite queer writers, and I think everyone's going to fall in love with it and Anthony's voice. Also, he insisted on the armpit hair, and we're all the better for it. So it's a queer love story from one of Chip Zdarsky's favorite queer writers. So I don't have to say it. Let's get talking about who made this comic book. First off, I'm going to get to there, but first let's get into. So we start off with Skrullos way back in the day. This is when all of a sudden we're thinking like the Kree are coming to attack or the Kotati are coming to attack. No, this is back in the day when Galactus comes to eat Skrullos. This is where consequences in comic books. Reed Richards had the chance to kill Galactus because, but then the Watcher was like, no, he actually serves a cosmic purpose. Killing him would not be a good thing. So it's like, okay, listen, I'm going to spare you, but please go away. So Galactus is like, well, the nearest place I know that exists would actually be all the way in the Andromeda Galaxy. So let me use my power to get over there. And he melts into the planet's core and eats the planet. And there are consequences for that. Pretty good, fun consequences. So there's that. Anyway, so bang, this stuff happens. And then also a reminder that the queen actually, the princess actually slept with Marvel, and then they had to, the destruction of the baby. This is supposed to be the real Messiah story, right? Look at this, or the Noah story at the very least, the Superman story. Look, they're killing babies because they got to get rid of this half Kree, half Skrull baby, but they escape and all this stuff. And yeah, um, and there's the armpit hair, of which is mentioned. There's armpit hair. So let's talk about this. The writers are Chip Zdarsky and Anthony Oliveira. I'm bothered that Zdarsky says that it was mostly Oliveira doing this stuff, but Zdarsky has top billing. Zdarsky likes to make jokes, so maybe he was just cracking wise on this. I don't know, but either way, if it's true, then I'd figure that Anthony would have the top billing on this. But as long as they both get paid the same, whatever, it is what it is. So Manuel Garcia does the pencils. Cam Smith does the inks. The colors are by Triona Farrell. There really is beautiful art in this book. That can't be argued. The letters are by VC's Travis Lanham, and the covers by Patrick Gleason and Marty Gracia. That's the cover. And then there's there's like 3 variant covers. So cool. And Carlos Lau, of course, did all of this good stuff here. The logos and everything. Boom, let's get going. So this is actually really fun. He's all like, oh, look, hey, I'm hanging out with Spider-Man, but don't ask him about it because a wizard just made him lose his memory of this. Meanwhile, it's actually him doing this. He's faking it like Spider-Man's really there so he could take the picture to show off to, I guess this is his boyfriend, which is pretty damn funny. I don't know why there's a pride flag back there, but sure. Okay. Now we're going to go over to Professor X, who also has a pride button on he's got a bunch of buttons. He's got the smiley face from Full Metal Jacket, I guess, and he's got a pride button. I don't know why this stuff is is this actually happening on Krakoa, or are these guys just farting around? The Crystal Emcran, is that like Crystal? What is that, her? I don't understand. I don't understand any of this stuff that's going on. Again, I don't understand the Hulkling character very well. I haven't followed the Young Avengers, so I don't really know the story very well. But for the most part, you'd figure this is going to be the most important book in the series, right? Because this is where the Skrull and the Kree emissaries come and say, you're actually our empire, you're our emperor. We need you to come and fix things. But it turns out that there's also a bunch of Skrulls that just want them dead because they're Denny O'Neil, man. But they just want them dead because religious cult. Really funny moment over here where Crystal Emcran says, "Never seen that one before." Where what is it? A bunch of violent religious fanatics roughing up a gay bar. Okay, so he gets the sword. Has he always had the sword? I don't know. I don't know if he's ever had the sword before. I don't know. But apparently it comes to him. Like, he's explaining the sword in the Empyre issue number 2 comic book that also came out this week. But here he's already got the sword and there's no explanation for where the sword happened. It's like he gets the sword, everybody's, the Skrulls are like, oh, it's true, he's the man. But all he does is he raises the sword and then everybody dies. That's all he has to do? I don't understand this. I don't understand it. Anyway, so I don't understand this. So the religious zealots suddenly decide to follow him because he's got the sword. This is actually a really cool scene, a scene with him and his mother. It's actually his nursemaid who saved his life, brought him down and whatnot and all this other stuff, and bang. And then later on, it's actually kind of important because you see the clerk, the Super Skrull, comes out and he punches him. He's like, "You killed my mom." It's like, actually, it was the handmaid. Your mother is not. It's like, whatever, man. I loved her and she liked pink lemonade. I kind of like that scene too. Is pretty cool. Like it's giving a lot of story. Listen, you guys tell me in the chat or in the comments below. Is everything that revolves around this character, Hulkling, just about his relationship with Wiccan? And is it just the idea that he's gay? Like, is that the same thing that Cena Grace did with Iceman, where it's like the only thing that there is to do with this character is that he's gay? Gay characters can only be gay. They can't have personalities. They can't have anything. Everything has got to be that, oh, the character is gay. Gay, 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 gay. That's where people start talking about agendas. Now, I don't think that there's a gay agenda. I don't know what the gay agenda would be. That just sounds asinine to me. What would there be a gay agenda for? Funny that I use the word asinine with gays because there's a funny joke there, I guess. I don't believe, like I said, I don't believe in a gay agenda. I don't think that anybody's going to try and make the whole world gay. That doesn't make sense to me. But what I can acknowledge is that when you look, Matt Murdock. Daredevil is a player. This guy has had more women. Actually, you know what? More women than anybody but Tony Stark. Now let's talk about Tony Stark. Tony Stark, this guy, millionaire, philanthropist, playboy, genius, right? Those are the four things that really define him. Playboy means he goes around and he starts banging everybody. Look, man, I guess Hugh Hefner, that's the guy who did Playboy. Look, man, I'm saying, Hugh Hefner. Here's this guy who the only thing we know about him is he's always in a smoking jacket with two beautiful women. Well, two blondes. Sometimes they're beautiful, sometimes they're not. But they're blondes and they usually have big boobs. He's always walking around. That's the only thing we know about him. There's a reason why there are no comic books written about him. You get it? Like, there's no real story behind that kind of a personality. Here's this guy, old guy, whatever, who's always got two blonde bimbos next to him. Yeah. There's no story there. There's no story for Iron Man to only be the guy who's always smooching on and kissing and feeling up women. There's no story in Matt Murdock only being the guy who's always kissing and feeling up and whatever women. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So I understand that it's like, I don't know about normalized gay, but like you can have a gay character, but if every single thing in the book is just that, and maybe you think, oh, I haven't read the book, Bill, but how much of that could there possibly be in the book? Well, besides all the stuff that is before, even towards the end of the book, this is all that you get. This is all that you get. That's it. The only real story that's explained is he likes kissing his boyfriend. That's what he likes doing. Look, nudity. They're naked. They're guys. They're gay. And they're kissing. Jesus Christ, man. If I say, yes, I believe in gay rights and the LGBTQ community and they all deserve rights, can we stop making that the only thing about gay characters? Because I read a book about Hulkling. I know jack shit about the Hulkling except that he's freaking gay. I don't know anything else new about this character besides what I already knew about the creation of the kid from back when the what do you call it? The original story with Marvel and the Skrull princess, that joining that union. You know what I'm saying? I remember that original story where he was the prisoner and he got visits. You know what I'm saying? So it turns out that, this was actually the product of that union. Okay, cool, that's great. What do I know about the Hulkling? In this comic book, I don't know how he got the sword. I don't know anything special about him. I know that he's gay. Fucking good job, idiots. Fucking good job. How the hell? Moving on. Let's read some comments really quick, just what I see here. I think Zub wrote Secret. Oh, read that. I'm staying with M. Staying with Marvel. I'm looking forward to the Maestro's mini. Yeah, me too. Good day. What's up, Raven? How you doing? Nero Black. I'm gay, but I don't even follow Hulkling and his relationship that well either. I need to start because I'm very curious about that sword. Yeah, I don't think they're going to give any information about that sword. And thank you for agreeing with me on that part. It seems like you're agreeing with me on this part. George Park. Hulkling got the sword via the Knights of Infinity. Oh, here we go. Testing him due to his heritage. He pulled it out of a stone. I wonder where they got that idea from. Okay, no, but that's cool, though. That's cool. See, that's cool. That's a story I need to read. Hold on. This was Knights of Infinity. Okay, so I need to find this story and I need to read that because that's actually really cool. That's an actual story, Again, you got him kissing a guy here and there or whatever, and like there's a relationship. He wakes up in bed next to his guy. He makes little texts here and there, blah, blah, blah. Sure. Spread that out a little bit. You want to remind us that he's gay? Cool. They seem to remind us that these characters are straight and those characters are straight and those characters are straight. And we see that stuff, every so often, whatever. But Please show me, please tell me one character who that's all we see. Even with all the trifecta stuff, the love triangle between Logan and Cyclops and Jean Grey, you know what I'm saying? And a little bit of Emma coming in once in a while, you know what I'm saying? Even with all that stuff, and we see them in bed once in a while, we see them kissing once in a while, that's not all there is to any of those four characters. Because if it were, nobody would pay attention to that character because it would be a useless character. Jesus Christ, I remember when I used to read the Penthouse forums back in the day when I was a kid and be like, "Ooh, this is interesting reading." I guess it's somewhat similar to the Harlequin novels that are out now. Maybe I should write a Harlequin novel and just type X-Men on it. But, like ECH men, so that I'm not copywriting the X-Men. Anyway, this how do you have a character and the only thing special about this character, according to this book, is that he's gay? Hey, here's an idea. Maybe stop adding queer writers to books. If that's the only thing that they can do, because from my understanding, the same problem happened with with America Chavez. I never read those 12 issues, but I know that they dropped in value. By the time that the 12th issue came out, they were also on Comixology releasing all 12 issues for the exact same price of the final issue. $3.99 or $4.99, whatever it was, which tells me nobody was reading those after a time. Same thing with the both versions of the Iceman series that Cena Grace did. The only thing I know about Iceman is that he's freaking gay. Hey, I know. Put that on his button for Christ's sake. But for the love of God, if the only thing special about him is that he's gay, he's not going to sell, because I can't even imagine the gay community caring. I can't imagine that. Hey, how about this? Let's put Hulkling and Iceman and North Star. What are some other gay characters? Let's put America Chavez on there. Let's take all the gay characters and put them on a team. Now here's a team book with a whole bunch of, they're supposed to be different personalities, right? No, they all have the exact same personality. We're gay. That's their personality. Good freaking job. See how well that team book sells. See if that damn movie gets made. Excuse me. This is ultra weird social liberal freaking movie world where, yeah, that movie probably would sell because somebody would think, yeah, there's some idiots who would love to see that movie. No, I'm sorry. Have some personality on the characters. Gay is not a personality. It's not. My God, man. Write better comics. Maybe stop hiring gay people to write comic books if that's the only thing that these writers know how to do. Here's the third, because no, I'm going to take that back. I take that back because I think it was the book World of Wakanda. I can't remember what it was called, but Roxane Gay did, like, I think 9 issues of Io and Anika. They were Wakandan Dora Milaje. And holy crap, that book was amazing. That book was really good. Yes, they had a relationship, but it was a forbidden relationship. And sometimes they thought it was more forbidden than it actually was. But that wasn't the crux of the story. They had to save Wakanda. They had to guard the king. But the king, Black Panther, he was actually not really the king for a certain while. And they started to distrust him also. And there was a lot going on. But they were supposed to be betrothed to him, technically. You know what I'm saying? And like, it was actually a really good story. And Roxane Gay, according to her name, she's actually gay. You know, saying she does gay studies and things like that at university. That's what she teaches. Like, holy crap, that was really good. So no, I take it back. How come Roxane Gay isn't writing anything right now? Maybe she should have written this book. She at least understands how to write a gay character to be more than just gay. Gay is not a superpower. Gay is not, I know there's people who are going to say that. Gay is not a superpower. Gay is not a personality. Gay is not a story. Jesus Christ. Write gay characters better. Write them the way that North Star was always written. And that was John Byrne. And under the direction of Jim Shooter. I'm bringing Jim Shooter back again. Let's finish up some of this stuff. Thanks, Professor. I agree with you. Hey, Carlos Rodriguez. Smash that like, fan. Yeah. I want to see some likes on here. How many likes are on this video? 18. 2 dislikes. Psst, whatever. I'm sorry that my free content doesn't titillate you. Vyclops, a character's sexuality should be the last thing we find out about a character. I don't care if I find out about it before, after, or during, or whatever. I really just don't care. But it shouldn't be the primary focus for me. About the character's supposed to be about the story LGBT community. Cool AF, by the way. Yeah, I'm totally cool with it. I'm totally cool with it. Richter and Shatterstar still prioritize heroics. That's right. Richter is gay. Yes. Yes, Shatterstar. That's right. I actually forgot. There's something for you. I forgot that Shatterstar is gay. It's not the most important thing in the world, your sexual preference, but yet, duh, I forgot. Richter and Shatterstar were a thing for a while. Yeah, correct. Precisely. And even then, that book, it had like, hey, my boyfriend. Hey, my boy. What are you doing with my boyfriend? Let go of my boyfriend. That recent Shatterstar miniseries that was out. They weren't like, it wasn't like constantly them kissing. It's like, reminder, they're gay. I'm moving on. I got to the bottom of that. I'm moving on. My God, man, write these characters better. So here we go with Empyre X-Men. Okay, so let's. I have to get into who made this first because it's almost in the middle of the book. So, oh, for crying out loud. Did I pass it? I passed it. Of course I did. So, oh, cut me some slack already. There we go. So this page is in the middle of the book. The page right before it is where they finally decide to say who made the book. How cute. And it's called Plants vs. Zombies. We're going to get to the end and we're going to see a little bit something different. So Empyre's X-Men, Magic Penance. It's just M. Just call her M, please. Angel, Black Tom Cassidy, barely. Professor X, a little bit. Magneto for like 2 panels, maybe 3. Multiple Man, I guess. This is mostly Magic, M, and Angel. Jonathan Hickman and Teenie Howard are the writers for this. I know you guys are going to be like, I know where this is going to go. Well, hold on that. Matteo Buffagni on Matteo Buffagni on the art. Nolan Woodard on colors. VC's Clayton Cowles doing the letters. Tom Mueller doing the design. Cover artists are Mike McCone and Chris O'Halloran. And Anna Rude does the color art. The cover art. Yo, it is really hot all of a sudden. My AC, I need to turn that AC on. I just don't feel like leaving the room to do that. Okay, so this is cool. Sanctum Sanctorum. Somebody's talking to him about, oh no, what have I done? Yeah. You want help, but that's never been the case. You've always been a god and regrets and blah, blah. And it's actually Scarlet Witch that we're dealing with. And it's like, you need to go out. You need to accept that what you've done is done. The whole M-Day thing. You need to accept that you did what you did and it's done. Kaput, halas, let it go, right? And then go out and do something bigger. Ring a bigger bell, as it's said in here. I like that. I like that a lot. So go out and stop being known for this. Be known for something else amazing. Now, will that actually happen in this book? This is issue number 1 of 4. It says it right up top there. Issue number 1 of 4. So we got 4 issues to do that. We only got that beginning in here. Is this unfortunately one of the things that these Age of X-Men, but not Age of X-Men, but anyway, these X-Men books, the former Dawn of X books, all of these for the most part have mostly been, here's a cool setup, and you're going to find it in another book somewhere down the line, which means that you have to read them all, even though they say we don't have to read them all. Interesting. So let's get, what do you call, all this stuff happens, and then she winds up awakening something on Krakoa, which is a little bit dangerous because she says live. She uses her magic. I like the text there. One of the things of having a good letterer is that letterer knowing how to really bring words alive. So boom, live. It's obviously a magic spell, and then something happens like, uh-oh, you messed up. I think we're going to eat you now. And she's like, no. And yeah, stuff happens. So anyway, here's something that my wife really liked. They actually show where Wakanda is. I always tell people it's on the East Coast, or it's on the east of, it's Eastern, whatever. It's Eastern Africa. And everybody's like, no, it's actually over in the Congo area and blah, blah, blah. Sorry. Every single time I seem to be proven right over and over and over again. So yeah, and I can point out the context where those, I think there's like one image that is kind of reprinted at one point. showing that it's actually over in the Congo area. There's actually a reason for that. And one of these days, if somebody brings that to my attention, I'll be happy to get into it. Or if I talk about the history of Black Panther one of these days, like really get into the history of it. Anyway, so boom, Wakanda. They rearranged the map of Africa a little bit so that Kenya and Ethiopia are kind of split by a little sliver of like three other countries, four technically other countries, and Wakanda is one of them. Totally dig on that. And they're just doing that to show where Genosha actually is and all the stuff that happens. And oh, the Katati are here, and there's one Katati who's named Rutabega. Rutabega, really? We're just going to name them Rutabaga now and stuff like that. Sure. Split P, come to me now. I wish to speak with you. Oh, there are three of you, like three peas in a pod. Like this is so the book is just resorting to dad jokes at this point. Come on, man. As a dad, I take great offense to this. Anyway, so here's Explodey Boy. Explodey Boy is a guy who lost his jaw, but they find his jaw and they put it on there, and he's just like, we're all undead and we're all coming to kill you. There are 6 million of us, and 2 million of us are vegetarians, and you're all plants. And it's like, okay, that's kind of fun. That's kind of fun. Splash, double splash page. Um, the book had its moments. Clinton Cowles on the letters. So the book has its moments. Then we go into over here where they're eating an actual salad. M and Warren, Warren Worthington III, they're chilling out, and this is actually really cool because they are both business leaders, and they're hanging out, and well, M has much more of an attitude than Warren has ever had. Even as Archangel, I think she's got a much more dominant personality than him. That being said, the most dominant personality in the world shows up, and that's Magic. And she is a straight up B in this point. At one point, M is like, you know what? I've had enough of you, B. You know what? Like she's like taking stuff off, like, let's go right now. I think that a fight between Emma and Ileana would actually be pretty interesting. I'd pay to see that. I'd go ringside for that, man. So anyway, she's talking all sorts of crap about how whatever. What does she say? Break time is over. I need you to get in there because I'm here to guard the assets and watch what's going on. Make sure blah 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 blah. I'm not actually going to be in the meeting, whatever. So apparently this meeting is really important. So she talks some crap and then opens a portal and says, "We can go back and talk to Professor X if you want." And it's like, well, I thought that this meeting was important, but now it's just been dropped. It's like, yeah, if stuff isn't important, well, then I need to put you in other places. But you're really important. So that's why. Sorry, not making a lot of sense. Doesn't add up. And then things get even dumber. Maybe it's just because of the way that it's drawn. I don't know, but Magneto's like, Professor X has, or yeah, I need you to go to Necrotia and see what's going on because the plant thing isn't working there. Angel says something really smart because M's like, oh, these things are always broke. Or was it? Puts it together. It'll be. I can't remember who says it. It was Magic. Okay, I was wrong. I know the gates are supposed to be like this big blessing or something, but I feel like we spend a lot of time teleporting around to fix the gates. Warren says it's a garden magic. You don't just turn it on and let it run. You have to tend it. I love, love, love that. That is so in character with Warren. Absolutely love that. Like that to me was a shining moment of this book. It gets fun though. I see that Sue Ann just showed up, so she's about to have a little bit of fun with this also. Anyway, so it's like, yeah, I need you to go there, and you three. So I thought it was just Warren had to go, but anyway, Warren and Monet and Magic are going. It's like you may take one other citizen. That's what Professor X says, and he's like, well, but there could be like a million things going wrong. It's a crusher, and I'm a little bit scared, and blah 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 blah. So Magneto's like, he starts getting close. Look at him. Look at him. He's getting pissed, saying. Professor X is the leader. He has given the order. Don't make me enforce it. You may take one. Says Magneto's getting awfully pissed off over him asking for more than one person to go with him. So of course he chooses Jamie Madrox because he's a freaking genius. Warren Worthington is freaking awesome. So he's just like, yeah, hey. So M, of course, gets it. We get to see her turning at one point. I've been seeing a lot of M in the recent series before Dawn of X started, the Matt Rosenberg stuff, and I don't think she even once turned into her more powerful form like that, her slicey form. I forget what her name is in there. It was her brother who had that ability to go all spiky and sharp, and you can't touch me or you'll get cut to shreds thing. Anyway, so yeah, stuff happens and they fix things and whatever. And then final page. Horticulture shows up. Horticulture. Horticulture shows up. Remember these? These are the old women who they manipulate the gates and they're like, yeah, we're like former chemists and stuff, or biology, microbiology, whatever, these freaks. Anyway, so alien plants versus mutant zombies versus old ladies. Old doesn't have to be in brackets. These ladies are really old. So they showed up because watch, in these 4 issues, they are going to be the ones who are able to figure out how to stop the Kotati. That is probably the coolest part of this entire Empyre event so far. Anyway, so I've been talking for an hour and 20 minutes. Let's try and wrap this up inside of 10 minutes. So, Suan is here. Shatterstar is by. He had female love interest too. Yeah, that's right. That's right. A wild Suan appears in the wild Suan appears. Whatever, the Pokemon thing. That's right. He is bisexual. Okay, my bad. I forgot that. Genosha, yes, Raven. Speaking of Wakanda, do they still have a techno jungle? Right? The original techno organic jungle. That was the first time that was ever used in comic books, at the very least in Marvel, if I can remember correctly. Nowadays, techno organic. Yes, Penance, duh. They even said the name at one point in the beginning, but whatever. So, contents and comics. My bad. Kumquat. Yes, there will be someone named Kumquat. There should definitely be someone named Kumquat. But as far as the techno-organic jungle, no, they don't really call it techno-organic jungle anymore. Back in the original 2 Fantastic Four issues where they showed the Black Panther, they introduced Black Panther in the first place, if you lifted a leaf, you'd see that there was technology and printed circuit boards underneath the leaves and stuff like that. And it's like, well, that doesn't really help people out a lot. They got rid of that real quick. So, yeah. But anyway, the Empyre event, it's not going along good. It's just kind of going along. Some of the stories are pretty interesting, but the overall premise is really pissing me off right now. It really is. But again, that's just because I'm probably the only guy in the world who's just like, no, the Kotati are a pure and peaceful and wonderful, elegant race. And to me, it would be like, it's one thing if you take the Jedi and say, oh, they were actually jerks. When we go back, Obi-Wan made and Yoda made the Jedi look like they were great in the original series or the original trilogy. But then you have the prequels, and it's like, actually, they were kind of dictatorial. They served at the behest of the Senate, barely with any question whatsoever. It was practically without question. They were bullies beyond the shadow of a doubt. They bullied like crazy, brah. They weren't really that strong. They were just stronger than regular people. Once the Sith came back, it's like they realized how weak they actually were. And it's like, that would be like, to me, equating this and what they're doing with the Kotati, if it turned out, no, the Sith were actually the good guys the whole time, and the Jedi were actually evil. That's what that would be like to me. I'm not digging what's happening so far as the plot itself. While some of the stories are actually pretty cool, this is the first time I've ever seen in my experience where the tie-ins are actually better than the main series. Wow. So I'm gonna go on record with that being the first one for me. Anyway, I'm gonna get some more comic books tonight. I don't think I'll be putting out any more reviews today just because I am freaking exhausted. Kids are gonna be coming back pretty soon, so yeah, got to chill. We can't even go outside because I think it's already started raining. It has already started raining. So yeah, we're not going outside. Anyway, guys, so that's going to be it for me. Probably more reviews overnight and in the morning. And I will talk to you guys manana. The Golden Girls are here. Hey, Rafael Rodriguez, what's going on, brother? How you doing down there in Brazil? Man, I love this, especially Captain Marvel. She's so badass as the accuser. It's a great idea, and I'm really looking forward to what Kelly Thompson is going to be doing with her as the accuser. I talk about how I don't like the stuff there, but yeah, I am interested to see how she's going to be treated there. Peace. What I miss just got on. Sorry, Def Rocker, I'm about to get off. I just want Koi redeemed. Agreed, Nero Black. I like his design a lot. It is good. He hasn't killed the Avengers when he could have. This is very true. I don't know how they're going to finish this off, but like I said, the idea that they were so ready to not even just defend themselves, but to actually become bloodthirsty. They were talking about reaping and harvesting and stuff like that. Like, dude, I no, that's not the Kotati. That's simply not. Like they were just way too quick to just not just abandon those ways, but to go the complete opposite. Like I said, imagine Gandhi suddenly becoming Ted Bundy. That's what I'm saying. Malcolm X, or not even Malcolm X, excuse me, MLK Jr. suddenly becoming freaking Jeffrey Dahmer. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, you look good, my sister. I think I'm going to eat you. No, for real. Like, what? What? You know what I'm saying? The Dalai Lama suddenly becoming Osama bin Laden. What am I reading here? So, no, I'm not digging it. I'm not. Can we see Cat Marvel and Rogue fight in MCU? We'll get there, I'm sure. All right, guys, I am out of here. You guys take it easy. I'm going to go out there where it's cooler. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.